The 2023 Arizona Cardinals coaching staff is in place. Let's dive right into who has been hired as the offensive coordinator as well as the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals. Alright guys, welcome back into another video here of the Arizona Sports Fan. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content on the road to 12K, ladies and gentlemen. And also follow me on all my social platforms. If you want the news a lot faster, definitely go and follow me on my Instagram as well as Twitter. But let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We got some breaking news coming out of the world of the Arizona Cardinals. We finally hired our coaching staff, right? We got our head coach, which we all know is Jonathan Gannon. We got our offensive coordinator as well as our defensive coordinator as well. Now, our defensive coordinator actually got hired last night, but I wanted to kind of wait to see what happens with the offensive coordinator. And of course, bright and early this morning, we got our answer. Now, let's dive right into who got hired. Now, please also keep in mind that there's a lot of different assistants that make up this coaching staff, but, we're not going to really focus on them very much. We're mainly going to focus on the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator on this video. And now, let's first start off with our defensive coordinator. That was the first person to get hired, and he is none other than Nick Rallis. Now, he did spend some time with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's where I do believe that Jonathan Gannon and him, formed a relationship with each other. Now, he also has had some career, time within the NFL as well with other teams. Well, actually, just one other team, right? And that is the Minnesota Vikings. He was a defensive quality control coach in 2018 to 2019. And then in 2020, he was a defensive quality coach and assistant linebackers coach. And then he got his opportunity as a linebacker coach with the Eagles. And then obviously now as a defensive coordinator with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, looking into what the insiders had to say, right? Like your Ian Rappaport as well as Tom Pelissero, it seems like a lot of people were trying to kind of bring this man into their coaching staff. Obviously, with the relationship between him and Jonathan Gannon, it seemed like he picked the Arizona Cardinals, but he is actually fairly young. Right now, he's actually 29 years old, so very young, new up-and-coming coordinator, right, assistant. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring for the Arizona Cardinals, being that he has had some other experience, but not very much experience. But I'm excited and I'm curious to figure out what he's going to bring for the Arizona Cardinals. Now let's move on over to our offensive coordinator. He is none other than Drew Petzing. Now Drew Petzing actually was automatically already linked with Jonathan Gannon for quite some time. I actually made a video about 2 or 3 4 days ago saying that seems like he might be the number one candidate to kind of move into this offensive coordinator role for the Arizona Cardinals. It seems like he also had a connection with Jonathan Gannon as well. He spent some time with the Minnesota Vikings as well as the Cleveland Browns, and then kind of went back and forth between those two teams. Now it seems like he also, had a connection with Jonathan Gannon, and that's the reason why he wanted to kind of bring him in. Now, when you look into, Drew Petzing, his last team was with the Browns, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Browns, no way in heck. But it seems like he is a name that's, kind of talked around amongst the coaching staff as well, and Jonathan Gannon really wanted him, right? So he ended up pulling the trigger and bringing him in as the offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, he's actually fairly young as well. He's 35 years old. So what I'm seeing so far with this coaching staff is it's very young, right? Even Jonathan Gannon at 40 years old, believe it or not, he's actually younger than Cliff Kingsbury. I honestly thought Cliff Kingsbury was in his 30s until I did some research, and no, he's actually in his 40s. But Jonathan Gannon is actually 40 years old. We got Drew Petzing at 35 years old, and then we got Nick Rallis at 29 years old. So it definitely seems like a very young, core group that seems to know each other a lot, or at least, the connection between Jonathan Gannon. So I'm curious to figure out how this is going to, transpire or translate into, defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, because believe it or not, all of them are new to these roles, right? With Nick Rallis as a defensive coordinator, Drew Petzing as an offensive coordinator, and obviously Jonathan Gannon as the head coach. Now we also have Monty Osenfor as well as our GM. So everybody is new to this job. So I'm a little worried there, which would I rather prefer at least one person that has a little bit of experience? Yes, of course I would, but obviously I'm not the one making the decisions. It is going to be, Monty Osenfor as well as Jonathan Gannon, or actually Jonathan Gannon is actually the one making the most of the decisions for the coaching staff. But, we're kind of in a situation right now. We're just kind of wait and see. I know that some people might not like these signings because we were waiting for the big names out there, right? Like, your Zimmers, right? Stuff like that. But I don't think that's the vision that Jonathan Gannon wanted to do. So we'll have to kind of wait and see and figure out how this is going to transpire. But We got our coaching staff now. We don't have to worry about who is going to be the next defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. We now have the answers, and we can now focus on the free agency class as well as the NFL draft class. So I'm excited about that. Now we can kind of put this away, and we can now focus down on what really matters, and that's building up this 53-man roster heading into this 2023 season. Now let me know what you guys are thinking about, these hires for the Arizona Cardinals, our new offensive coordinator as well as our defensive coordinator. Put everything in the comments below. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.